Hey guys, this is going to be a brief lesson about the film portfolio assessment and the formats associated with how to put this thing together. So if you go into your assessment materials and click on the film portfolio, and we have the FPA directions with exemplar, you're going to want to review this and follow it closely. This is something you do not want to do on your own. As far as like, I'm going to do my own thing and follow my own format. I am telling you, if you do that, you will travel a road full of tears, sorrow, and heartbreak. Okay? So, follow this. Trust me. Okay, so you have this film portfolio assessment workbook, and I suggest that you download this and keep this in your IB film folders. Okay, so as you download it, you'll see that there's this document with Marty Scorsese in there, and let's talk about each portfolio page. And each portfolio page should have this. So as you're working on your on your production, these are the things that you're going to need to have. All right, you're going to need to announce your role. You are going to need to announce the number and title of your film or clip and its length. You will need a URL of your film or clip. So if you have not created a YouTube yet, you will need to do that before you submit. If you do not create that, I will not see it. If I don't see it, you get a 0 out of 4 for the FPA reel. Okay? You have not submitted the work. And this is how you're going to submit the work. You are not going to submit MP4 to Schoology because the files are too big. Okay? You are going to continue to use YouTube throughout the next year and a half. You will need a statement of your creative filmmaker intentions and the influence and or inspiration. You will have a balance of written and visual evidence documenting these three things: inquiry, action, and reflection. Inquiry, action, and reflection. Inquiry, action, and reflection. Inquiry, action, and reflection. Those three things you will need to know, and those three things you will need to post, and those three things you will need to detail to get the points that you want in order to pass the IB film course. All right, not just the class, the course. The examiners, whether it's me or your stuff gets sent to IB and have other people look at it, it has to have that, or else you run the risk of failing this assessment. All right, think of this as an exam that's going to be 40% of your entire IB component score. All right. In addition, all documentation must be typed in a legible sans serif 12-point font. There is no altering from that. Sans serif 12-point font. It's got to be that. So I suggest using Arial. Use Arial. Use Arial 12-point font. Okay? And you're going to save your documentation using this protocol: last name underscore first name underscore cohort, which is your examination year. So if you're a junior in 2020, you are in the 2022 May cohort. So it'd be M2022 and then underscore FPA. All right? Each time you submit something, you will need to have that. Okay. Statement of filmmaker intent. This is the first thing that you will have on your written document. This is the most important sections of the entire portfolio. So you need to spend the time crafting it to make sure that it identifies the following 4 things. Do not deviate from this. Do not provide more information than these 4 things. Do not provide less information than these 4 things. I am telling you, you need to follow this to a T, or you run the risk of doing something wrong. Okay? So, you need to name your clip and the role you are adopting. You need to create a statement that says your specific and creative filmmaker intentions within that role. Has to be associated with the declared role. If it's not, you immediately drop in your score because it's showing that you don't know the responsibilities that fall under that role. And that's what that whole role introduction, the production role introduction and overview is all about. You need to look at that to make sure that if you are going to do this, it falls under that role. If you want to do this and it falls under a different role, you need to either declare that different role or you need to come up with something different that falls under the role that you have declared. Whose work or what technique, style, movement, or genre or approach you are inspired by. And finally, what do you want your film or clip to achieve as a result of exploring your filmmaker's intent? Okay? Since this is going to be in one chapter, you're going to have 3 productions that have the same role, but they could be different concepts. All right? They could have different influences. All right? So let's take a look at a good filmmaker intention statement. All right? This is a statement of filmmaker intent. In my clip, out of place. So, first of all, did they name the clip? I want to work as a director. Did they name the role? To explore using symmetry and overhead shots in mise-en-scène as effective and impactful visual techniques. Did they state the creative filmmaker intent? I have been inspired by Wes Anderson's work in Moonrise Kingdom and the Grand Budapest Hotel, and the way in which he often centers his characters and objects in frame and frequently uses overhead shots. Did it state whose work, technique, style, movement, or genre or approach that they were inspired by? My hope is to creatively explore how symmetrical and overhead composition and mise-en-scène can convey meaning, especially about character and setting. Did they state what the clip is trying to achieve as a result of that intent? Yes. This example follows this to a T. Notice how articulate it is and how specific it is. You need to make sure that you are explicit, specific, and if you do that, you will be articulate, especially if you follow these 4 things. These 4 things. You didn't see a 5th thing. You didn't see just 3 of those things. You saw all 4 of those things, and they were laid out in a sequential way that makes it really easy to do. All right? Okay, so why are we making you do this? Okay, so first of all, we're not making you. We're saying, look, if you do this, you will be more successful than if you don't do this. And the reason why this is being presented to you right now is because, remember, I am your examiner. So I know exactly what the IB needs to see when they look at your work. If they don't see that, your grade goes down. Okay? And I know that because I'm an examiner. All right? And I work with other examiners all over the world. I work with the people that examine the examiners. Okay? I manage these guys, so I know what they're thinking because they have communicated to me what they expect when they see a student's work? Statement of filmmaker intent, that's like a firm handshake. Hi, this is what this is. This is what role I am. You're making a really strong introduction so that the person now, the examiner, can look at the rest of your work and always go back to this. They can always go back to this and say, did the student say what they were going to do? And did they show that they actually did it? Okay, so remember inquiry, action, reflection. So think about the pages document now, the written commentary and visual commentary that is going to touch upon this and break this process down. So note that it's three sections. So again, it should be balanced, both written and visual documentation. All right? So what did you do to research it and find that inspiration? And how did you plan it and set it up and execute it? How did it go? Okay, so you need to look at each one of these because we don't have the time to go down through every bullet, and you should employ the IB Learner Profile by inquiring and seeking knowledge. And if you have questions, then communicate to me if something doesn't make sense or you need some clarity. But you need to look at these and know those because these are what's going to be expected. Okay, so for the portfolio pages, it's at 1 out of 4. So the great thing is it's only 4 points. The bad thing is if you slip up, you're getting knocked down. Right away, you're getting knocked down. Okay? So the margin of error is small. So look at what each mark band is. 2 obviously is passing because it's 50%. And 41 is a passing score, right? But because the FPA is worth 40% of your overall grade, you want to score in the 3s and 4s. You want to score in the 3s and 4s. You want to score in the 3s and 4s. You want to get a 75 or higher. So you want to get a 3 out of 4 here and a 3 out of 4 on the video. So you have 6 out of 8. That's 75%. 75% is almost a 7, which is the top score you can get. Okay? You got to learn how to play the game and beat it. And my job is to tell you how to beat it. Your job is to take my advice and do it yourself. Okay? My job is to point out, watch out for this, watch out for this, watch out for this, do this instead, do this instead, do this instead. And if you do that, you will pass this class. And you will score high. You will be better than most people are in this world. Straight up. I mean, that might be a cocky thing to say, but if you do that, you will score higher than most of the IB students around the world. And each of you can do that. So do it. Look at the film reel. This is the video portion of it. 1 out of 4. Okay? AV policy. No copyrighted material. No public domain material. No Creative Commons material. You cannot even have a TV on in the background and use that sound or imagery. You cannot show or audibly present any materials that have not been created by you or the student filmmaking team that is attached to Southeast High School. We have a checklist of have you done this, have you done these things? So take a look at that and make sure. Okay? It's broken down into 3 sections. So we'll have the film section, the film reel, and the film pages. So for the upcoming project, you will have 1 portfolio page and 1 minute of reel. In about 2 months' time, you will have 3 films and 3 pages. And we'll assemble it. Then we'll move on to the next role. Okay? So look at the rest of this stuff And then obviously you want to look at the exemplar. Okay? Take a look at the exemplar and the others on Schoology. Thanks a lot for watching.